Well, what a softball game that was. Incredible softball game, incredible atmosphere. Oklahoma just comes up on the short end of it in 8 innings. Tennessee wins it 5-2 over the Sooners to take game 1 of the series. Great game and an incredible atmosphere. But it's Sophia Nugent, the former Sooner, coming back, who's the hero tonight with a 2-run home run in the top of the 8th inning to give the Vols the lead. They add another run. Vols win this game by 3, but it was really close, and obviously OU had a chance to win it in the bottom of the 7th inning, which we're going to spend a lot of time on tonight. But we'll spend really time on everything that happened this evening. What's your big takeaway from the game? Drop that in the comments. Look forward to seeing what you guys have to say and chatting with you in the comments as well. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And look, there's a lot to get to, and yes, we'll cover, should Patty have sent Hannah Core? Should Patty have held Hannah Core there? That's probably going to be the biggest talking point of this game. But I'll say this, OU fell behind 2-0 early in this game, and it didn't feel good. Sam Landry, you maybe didn't feel like early on in the first couple of innings she had her best stuff. Had runners that got on in the first, of course, let up that 2-run home run in the top of the 2nd inning. You really felt worried about climbing out of that hole against the best pitching staff in the SEC and maybe the best pitching staff in all of college softball. So I commend this team for showing heart, fighting back, and having a great chance to win the game in the bottom of the 7th inning. It didn't make anybody feel better, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel better about tonight, but I do want to give a tip of the cap and commend this team that they took the fight to Tennessee as soon as they got down 2-0. And no, they didn't put up 9 runs on the board or anything like that, but it was a sacrifice fly by Gabby Garcia. It was a home run by Abby Dayton to tie things up, and it was just an unbelievable throw from right field to gun down Hannah Core, or you win that game on a walk-off. But she did make the play. You went to extra innings, and you weren't able to come through with this win. 8 hits apiece for both teams tonight. OU had 8 left on base. That's just a number that you don't love. And, getting runners in scoring position, you got to take advantage of those when you're facing Marjeko, when you're facing Pickens. That's as good of a 1-2 duo as you're going to find in this sport. So might be kicking yourself a little bit in a game that goes to extra innings. It was 2-2 going into the 8th, and you leave 8 on base. That's a tough number to leave kind of at the end of the night. But let's not delay it anymore. You got to go to the play in the bottom of the 7th inning that would have won the game. Cassidy Pickering gets the base hit to right field, just an absolute rocket, a shot. Cassidy Pickering, by the way, 3 for 3 on the night. She was fantastic. And should Patty Gasso have sent Hannah Core? Should Patty Gasso have held Hannah Core? And at that point, you would have bases loaded and just the 1 out. Now, hindsight, clearly, it's easy to say that Patty Gasso should have held up Hannah Core and played it out from there. Get a sacrifice fly to the outfield. Get something that can score the run from third base. And that's easy to say right now. With a strikeout pitcher like Carlin Pickens, and she had 4 strikeouts on the night and 5 2/3. I don't know. I can understand Patty in the moment sending one of the most athletic, one of the fastest players that they have in Hannah Core. Because in that moment, the crowd is going insane. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Like, all the pressure is on Tennessee in that spot. Even though you were the home team, even though you're the highly ranked team and everyone expects you to win this series, all that, the crowd can really affect games. And that's a situation where the crowd can really affect a game. So what I'm not going to do, and not because Patty's the GOAT, I would never question her, she does all right, all that. Patty's human. She makes mistakes. And I'm not even necessarily going to say that she made a mistake there. You got thrown out for being aggressive. I think that there's a couple of ways to look at this. There's looking at this and saying, hindsight says it was a god-awful call and Patty Gasso cost you the game. Maybe you have that take. But this has been an aggressive team. I think it's been an aggressive program. And most of the time it's going to work out, but tonight it doesn't. And if you get thrown out at the plate in that spot with one of your slower runners, then I'm kind of more apt to question, what are you doing there? But Hannah Core, who's so fast and so athletic, and it was going to take a really good throw. the right fielder for Tennessee made that look so easy, just an absolute shot to home plate. I think that play's a lot more difficult than a lot of people realize. So it stinks. You don't win the game. You could have won the game in the bottom of the 7th inning. Maybe you could have played it, bases loaded with 1 out. But what if you have an easy pop-up in the infield? What do you strike out? I mean, you can play that game all you want, but the fact is that OU took a chance. They said, we'll send Hannah Core. It's going to take a great throw to home plate. And that's what Tennessee did. Tennessee executed in that spot. It was a great throw to the catcher. Sophia Nugent got the tag down, everything you needed to do. So it's unfortunate. It stinks, but you just got to tip your cap. I feel like more times than not, when you send Hannah Core on that play, she's probably going to score, and maybe some of you adamantly disagree with that. I guess I don't ever have any issues with being aggressive and it costing you. Because, again, I just think we've seen so many times where this program has really benefited from being aggressive and putting the pressure on the opponent. Didn't work out tonight, and it stinks, and it's a big reason why you're down 1-0 in the series. Now, this series ain't over, and I just complimented this team for the fight that they showed, getting back in this game and having a great chance to win in the bottom of the 7th inning. I don't know who's going to pitch tomorrow. Tomorrow clearly is a very big game. You got to win the next 2 to win this series. Tomorrow is a big game. I'm going to guess that this team comes out and shows some fight like they did tonight. I would expect that. I will be disappointed if I don't see that. So tomorrow is a new day, but tomorrow is a big day as well. And tomorrow, one of the big reasons it is a big day because tonight didn't go your way. You showed some heart. You showed comeback ability, but you're going to have to do it again tomorrow if you want to win this series. And yeah, it's a disappointing way to lose. Maybe the entire conversation all night into early next morning is defending Patty or ripping Patty for that call. Again, I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue. You can be overly aggressive. You can be reckless. I guess I just don't view that play as reckless. You're trying to win a game on your home field in the bottom of the 7th inning, and everyone's praising Patty Gasso if that's a short hop and it's bobbled, and you just tip your cap. I don't really know what else to say after that. You just tip your cap to Tennessee. They made the plays when it mattered most. Sam Landry gave you a solid outing tonight. Not her best, but that's a good Tennessee team. 8 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks. She gave up a couple of home runs, 2 strikeouts, and then a career high in pitches for Sam Landry with 141. She gave you all she had. When she pitched on Wednesday, multiple innings, came back tonight, career high in pitches. Tip of the cap to Sam Landry. She gave up the 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, but was really good after that. And as much I'll give a tip of the cap for Sam Landry for how she was from the 3rd inning to the 7th inning, you got to give a lot of credit to the OU defense. I thought the OU defense, after a very sloppy night in Wichita, they were fantastic tonight. They didn't have an error on the night, so that's good to see. I love the Bella Emmerling to Abby Dayton play at second base in the top of the 7th inning. That was a huge out to keep it tied going into the bottom of the 7th. Gabby Garcia, of course, the play of the night, the diving play at shortstop. So, look, it's a loss, and that's how we're going to remember this game. But if we want to look at things moving forward in this series and look at things moving forward throughout this season, no, your offense wasn't the best. But at least defensively, you came back tonight and really, really played well. And you just got beats. They just made a couple of more plays than you. They just had a couple of more big hits than you. A top 10 team came in here and won. You tip your cap and you move on tomorrow. That's the game of softball. Texas got beat by Mississippi State tonight. Florida got beat by UCF earlier in the week. It happens. It's going to happen in this conference. And as I'm talking here, I feel like I have a good idea of what I'm going to see in the comments, but I'm also very interested to see if I'm off at all. So if there is mass panic, I'll say, just calm down. What overall happened tonight is that you lost to a very good softball team, and they made the plays that you didn't in the end. It doesn't mean that you're a bad softball team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the season is over and let's fast forward to 2026 or anything like that. Let's just see how this team responds for the remainder of the weekend. And this is not some sunshine pumping, putting lipstick on a pig tail. It's really not what it is, because I thought OU did, at times, some very good things tonight. You left 8 on base, which isn't great, but if you don't get thrown out at home plates, then you win the softball game. You put yourself in great opportunity to win, and there's just great softball in this league, and things like that are going to happen from time to time. So I'm not going to sit here tonight and say that this team isn't any good, and that this team won't win the national championship, this team won't win the SEC, this team won't do this team won't do that. We are past the halfway point of the season, but we still got a long way to go, okay? And let's see how they bounce back the rest of the weekend. If they get run rule 10-0 tomorrow and they get beat 5-0 on Sunday, then maybe we'll start to have a real talking point. But before I jump off the ledge with this team, I do want to see what happens on Saturday and Sunday against a very good team. Tennessee's going to come back and probably play really well again tomorrow. They're pumped up, and it means a lot to beat Oklahoma. We were reminded of that Saturday when Missouri beat you, but Tennessee, whoo boy, they were pumped up for their first win against Oklahoma since 2017. Another tip of the cap to Cassidy Pickering. Thought she was great. 3 for 3 on the night. Abby Dayton was good. She had the home run. She had 2 hits. Nelly had a big hit late in the game. She was 1 for 4 on the night. But after that, you really kind of, after your first 3 hitters, your middle towards the bottom of the order really didn't produce as much as they need to. Sid Sanders with just the 1 hit. Hannah Core with the hits. But outside that, not a whole lot of speak from the offense tonight. Ella Parker goes 0 for 4. Gabby Garcia goes 0 for 3. So the entirety of the order is going to need to be better as the weekend goes on. And look, you faced 2 very good pitchers tonight, and you're able to get 2 hits off Marjeko and Pickens. And I thought at the beginning of the game, what a gamble by Tennessee, not pitching Carlin Pickens. Well, she comes in and throws 5 2/3, gives up 6 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. We'll be interested to see if we see her at all tomorrow. Probably depends on the situation. But that's the first time in SEC play that Carlin Pickens hasn't started. So I'm going to guess that we see her back in a starting role on Sunday. I would guess. It wasn't perfect tonight for Oklahoma by any stretch, and no way am I going to say that. But nights like this are going to happen from time to time against a good softball team. And Tennessee played very well tonight. Some of the mistakes that they've made in previous games, they didn't make that tonight. They didn't make those tonight. And I did notice how the fans were just not happy with the balls and strikes calls early, in the middle, and in the late in this game. So hopefully that's not something we got to work through for the entirety of this weekend. But I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, and this isn't even like sour grapes saying that the umps have been awful towards Oklahoma. It just feels like we've been talking about the umpires in terms of balls and strikes calls way too much in SEC play so far this year. But you got beat. You got beat by a good team. Not saying that that's the standard. Not saying that that's going to be what's okay moving forward. But you got punched tonight. They made one more play than you. One of your former players hit the 2-run home run and is the hero. What are you going to do about it tomorrow? We talk about punching back all the time, coming back. What are you going to do tomorrow when Sam Landry is not in the circle? Feels like a big moment for this team. Are you going to get a good start? Are you going to get more offense than what you did tonight? I'm fascinated. I can't wait for tomorrow's game because I'm very interested to see what happens with this team tomorrow, because I do think that it is I don't think it's a season-defining game or anything like that, but I think it's going to be a very interesting moment to see what happens with OU softball when they face off against Tennessee at 1 p.m. on ESPN in front of a national audience. Tennessee wins 5-2. Let's hope for better tomorrow. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you in the comments, but as always, thank you for watching.